Who would think that I could be happy and contented?
Thanks a lot.
This is one of the many awards he's got from China, 2018, Excellence in Tool Design, NADCA, North American Die Casters Association Award, an Indian winning an award there in 2018 and also 2022. Particularly, I want to emphasize the fact electroplating. India is perceived to be very poor in metal finishing of the die cast components. You're doing good castings as caster, but we are lagging in finishing. Lot of miles to go there, and he has done some excellent work and he got the award there. And the International Zinc Association Award is got. So he won all the global awards. We are too late in recognizing in India.
Thank you, sir.
Never mind, never mind. He won't say a few words.
Okay, sir. Do that one, please.
See the presentation.
Yeah.
Okay. First, a very big thank you. Thank you, Mr. Pog, Mr. Sridhar, all the members of ILZDA, from my team members of DST. I thank you all for the recognition you have given me. Just a brief profile. As you can see, this is my company logo. So, as you know, zinc, I consider zinc to be a very versatile metal. And it has its usages in many more sectors than most of the people think of. So when we had to make a logo for our company, so we said how we can do it. So this is something which we went for. So as you can see, zinc has major usages in automobile. Zinc has very high usages in sanitary and builders hardware. Other than that, it is also used in as simple products as zippers, pullers, then buttons, and a lot of other things. So I thought this is an appropriate logo for which represents DST Tech. We are present in all these three sectors mainly. So I would be very short in my presentation. So so I have been in this industry for 25 years now. And this is a wonderful recognition I have received from ILZDA. So Mr. Pope told me that let me share some insights about what I have observed, what I have gone through in this industry. So this is a very short presentation on that. So if we look about zinc industry and we compare India and the rest of the world, what we see in zinc die-cast industry, about 70 to 80% castings worldwide is in decorative segment. When I say decorative, it is not only decorative. Those components are functional, but they are being used for household sectors, kitchens, appliances, then sanitary in the washrooms. Then you have door hardware, hinges, such kind of things. So, but what happens in Indian industry, if you look at, the situation is reverse. All major large companies are in functional sectors. We are more concentrated on automobile than anything. So if we have to realize the true potential of zinc today, I think somewhere this shift has to happen. We have to adopt the same model of growth of zinc as the world is currently doing, because that is where the zinc belongs. It's relatively a heavy metal. If you compare zinc with aluminum, the densities is far heavy. So you cannot put too much zinc into moving automobiles or some kind of thing like that. But it's absolutely a very beautiful metal if you look at household products. So the decorative segment is where, if we concentrate now, we can become a world leader. Why I say we can become a world leader? Because we have internal resources. Hindustan Zinc is one of the world's largest producer of primary zinc. And what is it doing? Today, if you look at LME, the zinc prices is USD $2,500 per ton. And if I look at my industry where we do not have any brand, we just make it for B2B business. We sell our products to other users in India and abroad. What we sell at, we typically sell at $9,000 to $10,000 per ton. So we are looking at a huge value addition opportunity which we are missing out in India. So if the industry concentrates on that and look at this value addition, I think India can be a big forex earner for India. So this is my brief, my 25 years which I said I have put in. So how can we become leaders in decorative castings? So as you can look at zinc, if you look at aluminium and other sectors, you are mainly concentrated in castings and machining. But when you look at zinc, you are looking at three distinct areas. So one is the tool design. The casting has to produce with a surface finish which can be almost polished directly. You can directly polish it to a mirror finish. So what you have to concentrate is on the feed system design. And I think this is where we lack in India. We do not have those skills, we have not put enough knowledge into a feed system design which should give us a surface which is right for plating. And I see most of the semi sectors which I have been through in all my life, they just make a casting. I would say they just do it. But they do not have put their brains there. And there's no institute, no skill training center to tell them that this is how you should produce a casting. And I would again say here, I have put in a very special line. Simulation is a tool for analysis or design, but knowledge is a must. Simulation can only analyze what you have put in there. So people rely too much on simulation. Okay, we will simulate, we will get somewhere, we will get a casting which is perfect, there will not be flow marks and all. But it doesn't happen that way. So you must learn design first. And if you can do a good feed system design, a good thermal design, maybe in one or two iterations of simulation, you can get there where you want to be. And then these are very simple components. Unlike if you look at aluminium components, which are very complex and very large now, people are going for giga castings, mega castings. Zinc components are typically small. So, not so much inputs of design also necessary. It's only a skill which has to be built in. And if people can do it, I think we can be good in tool system design. The second area which I must concentrate upon is the people which should learn is knowledge of your casting parameters and knowledge of your machine parameters. So if you know what should be the flow rates, if you know the shot speeds, if you have basic knowledge of where you will shift the shot from low shot to a high shot, so you should have all those things. And also your machines, once you buy those machines, you also have those sensors built into those machines which you can control your shot parameters. And then more than that, how good are your machines, how good is your melt, how good are sensors there to maintain your melt temperatures, how good are your hydraulic systems to give you the right pressure. So all these things, a basic knowledge must exist and must be taught. This has been always my stress. We have been learning it the harder way. We have been learning it through conferences and but we actually go there, go to NATCA, attend their programs to learn all this, which I think is sadly missing in zinc die casting industry today. So if you can merge these two knowledges, then I think you can be a leader. And last and not the least, the major emphasis is on polish and coating. Today also, what we do, usually we rely for polishing on manual labor. And imagine the kind of things which we are using in polishing. We are using machines, polishing machines and those, I would say, linishing machines, which was some 70, 80 years old technology. Earlier people used to polish brass. And brass used to be sand cast or a gravity cast, which used to have a very bad surface. So the polishers in India, the kind of semi-literate or literate people who are there, they're still using those old technology machines for polishing zinc. Zinc hardly needs polish. Zinc hardly needs any cutting. It is something of a metal which can be directly polished. So when you use those machines which have itself so much of kind of vibration, you are in fact overcutting the zinc and exposing its underlying porosity. And the second part is these people, when you put them to work from morning till evening, so even their efficiency suffer, and the way they polished in the morning, the last component they will polish in the evening will not be like that. So once you have variation in polishing, you will obviously suffer variation in quality of electroplating. So these are the areas where I think a concentration is required, where polishing automation has to be brought in. Basic semi-automatic kind of setups where you can invest something and you can get a consistent polished output which can be plated is the need of the day. More than that, in plating, what I have seen is usually SME setups, we still work with people or technicians with experience. So I think we have to change that. Zinc is much more complex than to work with people who are only experienced into a plating shop. Let me put it this way. Earlier again, India has a history of plating on brass, or most of it brass. So if you look at brass, even if the plating goes bad, you can just take it off, do it again. But zinc is a very tricky metal. If you plate it once, you cannot plate it back. So eventually, if you do not learn the plating techniques the right way, you end up losing 40, 50 or even 100% of castings. There where you find plating defects. So it's very important that skill of plating, technical knowledge of plating has to be taught to these people in the SME industry. Or maybe if a bigger person comes in and joins in this industry and wants to do it rightly, the professionals have to come to a plating industry to control the parameters. And I have also built my team a very hard way. 20 years and 25, last 25 years we have been building team. We are bringing each and every professional, make them stay with us. Again, that's again a problem. Most of the people, what happens is when they learn 3 years, 4 years, they leave. But this industry, if you really want to do something in India, you have to make people stay there, because knowledge comes with time. It doesn't come overnight. Even if you are professionally qualified, if you have learned through seminars or through attending some courses, you have to actually practice your knowledge. So what is happening today is professionals move across the industry very fast. So this is one, in fact, I recall a person I met in Sandhar once. I said, you have all the resources. Why DST is required? You can do it yourself. He says, Sandeep, most of the time in the morning, we first go to one meeting, then we go to second meeting, then third time there's a rejection meeting, then there's a fourth, and don't take it any other way. But this happens. So if you need the kind of R&D people who are just investing into the knowledge, and then those people have to stay. So I think this kind of thing has to be done. Like this has been what you see across in Europe. Even in the family-run companies, people are staying for life. Even in companies in Japan, people stay for life. So this process of migration of one industry to another, jumping from one place to another, you have to really learn the technology, learn the things. I think somebody has to take a challenge and do it. So this is another very short slide where I would say there's a myth in India, and it is often corroborated across SME sector, the Chinese are better. I have been across China and I have traveled so much, I have seen so many companies. Most of them are what we are. What they have also done, the typical way the Chinese companies grew, the MNCs got established into China, the Chinese government invited them, they put up big plants. Now after 10 or 12 years of working in those plants, so these people, those managers, supervisors, line supervisors, workers on those lines, so the Chinese officials started asking them, can you make this part? Would you like to do it? Would you like to do business on it? So anybody who said yes was provided a beautiful factory, was given all equipments, moratorium on loans for 5 years, and then the customers were brought to them through fairs, and the government used to bring them customers. So most of the people are again semi-literate there, again having good experience, I would say, but not the real knowledge. And what we are doing today in India, we are copying them, right? If they use a 200-ton machine to do a 200-gram casting, we will also do a 200-ton machine to do a 200-gram casting. We don't need that. If you go into the scientific knowledge, you just need a 60-ton machine to do it. So this is a typical myth which is happening in India, that Chinese are good and they are the world. In fact, they are the world leaders. But if they are the world leaders, that is because their government has helped them. Our government has not helped them, us. But then if we want to be somewhere in the world, I think we would have to bring knowledge into this profession. Without knowledge, we can't do it. So, another part which I've said, rejection rates, most of the companies are similar. Like in India also, if you look at these electroplate casting rejection rates, typically we come across, again, rejection is something which is on as per base of your quality standards. Like there are companies like high-end MNCs or high-end Indian companies in sanitary, they won't even take a single speck of rejection. Companies like Royal Enfield, where we work with Sandhar, they don't accept a single speck dust particle speck on it as they reject it. So under these kind of rejection standards, Chinese companies, Indian companies are somewhere same, 40, 50, 60% rejection. But because they have not invested into knowledge. That's another thing, that whatever Chinese products are made there are sold there. Because they are the world market. So anybody from India would come, would buy the reject and sell it in India. Anybody would come from Gulf countries, from Africa, from other places. So they sell completely. But we don't have that benefit, we don't have that advantage. So for us, we can only have knowledge as our advantage. If we can reduce our rejects, we can work similarly as Europeans, Italians and Germans are working today. Like today also, with whatever China influx has been there, if you look at zinc die casting industry, Germans and Italians still lead the way. I don't know, I think in the aluminum industry it's the same. Because they put so much knowledge and so much technology into that industry that they can still hold themselves against cheaper, low quality goods. So this is somewhat. So India is in the middle. Like we are at an influx point where if we can put our knowledge, then we have that low cost advantage of labor. We have a lot of professionals coming in the market, duly educated from institutes. So if we can put them to this work and these people can gain knowledge, gain skills and can work in the industry, maybe we can offer German quality at Indian prices. So I think that's where we can create something for us. Otherwise, Chinese would be there and we won't have a place. So another advantage Chinese have, they have huge size of companies, so large database, last 20, 30 years they're working, so they are experienced. So a lot of things get solved by experience, surely. So this is something we have to, instead of this experience, we have to bring knowledge into the way. So this is my last slide. I say how we can win. So this is always my take there, that we should induct professionals and this is I'm saying specifically for SME industry, like large automobile companies and companies at tier 1 suppliers do induct professionals, but our kind of companies at our level of size, they usually induct general normal, I would say what kind of, if you look at unskilled workers and just put them to job. But I think we should induct more professional ITI, diploma institutes, degree institutes. We should train them through skill training centers. So, as I always say to Mr. Pogel, so seminars like this are helpful, but they do it only in a limited way. The people around here, we will get some knowledge about the latest technology, but we would not know, we cannot understand the usage of it. We can't learn how to use it. So knowledge has to be brought in through skill institutes linked with the industry. So ILZDA is there, ILZDA India is there. So I always stress in these seminars that they should join hands, put up a skill training institutes, get experts from abroad, get to bring short-term courses. Computer courses are good, I'm not against that. But I think people who are at a lower level of training, lower level of skills, who are inducted fresh into things, if they get teaching courses directly through experts, it makes much difference. So another thing which we can say is maybe using die casting clusters where we can share knowledge, where we can share alloy makings, and lots of things can happen in a cluster. So that's all. Thank you for your valuable time. My closing remarks is ILZDA is looking at the lead also and looking at the zinc also. Usually zinc and lead are loggerheads. You have anything of lead and zinc, you will have a problem. Zinc and lead, you will have a problem. But they are from a common base. So the alloy is the common, the ore is the common. So the next thing where we can work together, possibly work together, is where we can, in the battery technology, zinc is coming in a big way. So if people like you can facilitate, let's look at the possibility of using zinc die castings for zinc batteries. I think if you can make anodes out of it, maybe special alloys, we can see how those alloys can be more fluid. We can look at new alloys made out of zinc majority, which can be casted and can be used for batteries. Like today, as I attended one of the conferences, that today the zinc anodes in the batteries are made by powdered zinc. Just to give you an example, that's a 30 micron powder. So 30 or 20 micron powder. So there to make an anode, that powder cost itself, like if zinc costs today 300, that costs 30,000 rupees a kg. So 300 rupees a kg versus 30,000 rupees a kg, there's 100 times difference. So if by any chance, and with that also what they say, it is better than lithium because energy densities are comparable and cost is lesser because lithium is costly, not available, zinc is available in abundance. But if you look at it, if you can bring that 30,000 down to 300, so those batteries would be everywhere. I do not know whether it is possible or not, but I think if someone brings in some research into it, because today thin wall casting of zinc is very easy. Doing 0.5 mm, 0.4 mm, 0.3 mm castings is acceptable. You put vacuum, you can do it. So if you can do thin wall casting of zinc, you can make electrodes of zinc. So what kind of electrode would be good for a battery? And that kind of alloying if we can do, and then we can cast it. I think we are opening a very next horizon for zinc. It changes the entire landscape. And that's my request to you. Thank you.
Really very interesting. So that was experience speaking so far, an industry veteran who was speaking from heart to motivate all of you. And you saw the way he was emphasizing the need for good finishing for zinc die casting or even aluminum casting. The interesting fact is zinc